Before we write our next program, we are going to make a new file. To do this, we will go into our Eclipse workspace and then the folder, and in here we will make a new text document. We can call this words, and then we can go into our words to edit it. And for this example, we are going to use this, where we have certain spacing issues. We are going to read this file in, edit out all of the weird spacing to only have one spacing in between each of these strings, and then after we do that, we are going to update this file. So we're going to control save it and then go over to Eclipse. Now that we are in Eclipse, we can start writing our code. First thing we need is our class, then our main method, which also has a throws file not found exception, which we will have to import. This is because we will be reading and writing to a file, and we need a file not found exception in case either of those files do not exist or cannot be made. First thing what we're going to do is we are going to read in the file because we want to fix this file. So first thing we're going to do is read it. That means we're going to need a scanner, and we can say scan is equal to new scanner. Inside of here we'll have new file, and we are just going to use the file name that we're reading. So this file name is words. We'll title it words.txt, and then we are also going to be writing to a file, so we're going to create a file. This means we need to write print stream because we're printing to the file, and then this is going to be called, we can call this write. And then we'll set this equal to new scanner, and in here we'll have a new file, and this is where we create the name of our new file. We can just have it as words2.txt. We need to import file and import scanner. This should be a print stream, not scanner. And then we need to also import print stream. Once we have all of this, we can actually start writing. So we need to scan every single line. We're going to do this in a while loop. Once we take the first line, we're going to go through the while loop again and go to the next line, and then the while loop again until there's no more lines. To do this, we'll have to use a scan dot has next line. So this will run until there's no more lines inside of it. And then in here, we are going to store our current line in a string. We'll call it string text and set it equal to scan.next line. We can either write this in our main method or we can write a method outside of it. We'll write a method outside of this in this example. So we need to make a method, and we can call it fix spacing, and then we're going to pass in the scanned line, and we're also going to pass in our print stream so that we can write to it. If we just do this, it'll print to the file. However, it's also good to know what we're printing. So we can write this here, and instead of writing the print stream name, we can write system.out. This way it will print it to our console. We can use the same method, and this is because print stream is very similar to system.out. It's basically the same thing. So we pass through our string text in both of them, then write for the first one, and then system.out for the first one. These are both print streams, so they work as the same parameter. Next in here, we are going to have a scanner that goes through each token in our line. So we'll do scanner, and we'll call this current, and set this equal to new scanner. This should just be on one side. And in our new scanner, we're going to have text. So we're going to scan through our text. After this, we are going to have an if statement. We need to have an if statement to check if there's even anything in our text, because we don't want to write a blank into our file. So we'll say if text dot has next, or actually not text, but if current, because that is our scanner. if current has next, we are going to start working in here. And we want to output a string, we want a space, and then output another space. The reason why we're using a scanner to fix this is because a scanner gets all of these tokens without any of the spaces, so it gets rid of all the white spaces completely. There is an error, not an error, but there is a quirk about this, and that's that in our output we want a single space in between all of these. So before we have a while loop that prints all of these strings, we are going to have the first thing that gets printed out first. So to do this, we will have output dot print, or not output, we are going to have out, because this is our parameter name. We're going to have out dot print line, and in our print line we are going to have current dot next. What this is going to do is it is going to, well, this scanner is going to scan this current text file, and current, we're going to say if current has next, we're going to do this, and if current has next, we are going to get that next value. So we get 4, and we're basically printing it out here. We use output.println for the write or for sysout, because again they're both print streams, and so it works either way. And then we need a space, another thing, a space, and then another string. You can see these both repeat twice. This is the only outer part, so that's why it's going to be out here. And next we're going to have a while loop that goes through these two, and we're going to do this while current dot has next. And then inside of here we are going to have a space, inner output dot print, not output but out dot print line. So first things first, we're going to just have our space, and then we're going to have a current dot next, and this is going to run as long as there is a next value in this current text. It's going to run, and then it's going to break out of this, and then it'll break out of our if statement, and then after this we need a new line, so we're going to do output dot print line. Again, this should be out because this is our parameter name, output.println, and that is all for the code. So if we close up some of these spaces, we can put this all on one side and we can collapse that, and then we can just run this, and this is not how it's supposed to print, so probably did something wrong in my code. And if I look back at my code, I can see that I accidentally used a print line here and a print line here. These both want to be on the same line, because we have a print line here which moves it to the next line. We want to print all of these out on the same line. To do this, we just basically get rid of the ln, and then it's just going to print on the same line. So we can run it again, and we can see that it prints on the same line with the correct or appropriate amount of spacing that we want. If we wanted more spacing, we could add more spaces like this, and it would look like this. And if we go into our file, we see that words 2 has appeared, and we can open this and we can see that it has the spacing that I put in with this kind of spacing. I think it's like 5 spacing, but if we just want 1 spacing, we can go back and make it 1 space like this, and after we do this, this file will update. So we can run this, and we see that we have single spacing in here, and if we go back into our folder, open up words 2, we can see that the file has been overwritten and updated with the single amount of spacing. So this is how you read a file and then write to a file. We did this using a while loop to get every single line, and then pass it through a method to fix the issue or to manipulate the problem. We could do more than just fixed spacing in here, or we could have other methods that do more than just fixed spacing, but that can be added on later.